Hey you, yeah you, you're awesome and you can do whatever you want, you can achieve anything. But have you ever felt like you couldn't achieve anything? Did you ever feel like you had low confidence or maybe you got picked on in school or bullied? Well, I share my story in this next part of the video. I give a speech, the speech that I gave in the International Speech Contest for Toastmasters in 2018, where I placed second in the third round, District 18. Stay tuned. Have you ever hung out with someone for a long time only to find out they're not the person you thought they were? I have. And it sucks when this revelation comes to fruition, especially at the wrong time. It was 1996 and I was living next door to who I thought was my best friend. We were standing in what used to be a grassy side yard, but the neighborhood cats and dogs had used this area so much as a bathroom, it looked more like the infield of a baseball diamond than a grassy side yard. I found myself standing with no shoes on and no shirt when all of a sudden, pow! I get hit in the face. What did you do that for? Why did you hit me? I don't remember what he said, but it didn't make any logical sense. After coming to the realization about what had just happened, I looked at him, and then I looked down at my feet, and my hands began to shake. My knees rocking back and forth. I could feel the adrenaline rushing through my veins. I looked back into his eyes, and in that moment, I decided I was going to face my bully and show him who's boss. Or so I thought. He beat my little body so bad it was covered in bruises. And I'm pretty sure I had a mild concussion. But secretly, I was proud of myself. I had stood up to my bully. However, my mom didn't see it that way. She was beyond livid. And she called the cops on my neighbor. And from then on, the kids in my school and neighborhood would make fun of me and say, "Don't hurt Joe, his mom will call the cops on you." I was so embarrassed that my mom had called the cops on my neighbor. It almost made dealing with the kids in the neighborhood unbearable. About a year later, I was sitting in class when all of a sudden I heard, "Attention, Joseph Saienni to the principal's office." Kazing! Woo! I knew what that meant, early dismissal. Woo! But the excitement didn't last long. Once again, I found myself surrounded by my family members, staring at white tiles on the floor. I was trying to eavesdrop on the adults' conversation as we all gathered around my mom as she laid unconscious in the hospital bed with tubes coming out of her mouth. The year before, my mom had gotten divorced from my stepdad, and she wasn't handling it very well. This was not her first attempt at suicide. It was in this moment that I knew I couldn't let my emotions get to me. Because if that happened, I would end up just like my mom. And she always told me, "Don't be like me, Joseph. Be better than me. You can be whatever you want." Luckily, my superstar grandmother said, "I'll take Joseph. He can live with me." And my brother went and lived with my papa and my sister with her dad. But I was excited. I get to live with my mom. I get to live with my mom. She had always gotten me the best Christmas presents, so I knew this was going to be a big improvement in my life. No, she wasn't rich or anything. This is going to be a big upgrade from Joe. I went from living in a trailer to living in a condo. The next year I had to start at a new school, and I was so nervous because I didn't know anybody. But I knew this was my opportunity to make new friends. So I took action. I joined the local Little League team. This was the social media before Instagram, before Facebook, when kids used to actually hang out and talk to each other, kick rocks, spit gum. No one was taking selfies. Remember that? In my new home, there were 12 huge buildings that stretched about a half mile into the woods. And to the right of those buildings was a housing development. And separating the two neighborhoods was a big long creek that stretched about a mile long. And on the other side of the creek was a fence. And on the other side of the fence were houses. And in those houses were house kids. That's what I used to call them. Up until that point, I had never been friends with anybody who lived in a house before. With a garage and both parents? What is this, Seventh Heaven? Remember that show? Great show. For a while, I would walk back into the woods and watch the kids play from afar. Some people might call it stalking. I called it research. Couldn't risk another concussion. But eventually I got the courage. I was like, I'm going to ask them to play. I'm going to ask them to play. The only problem is there's a creek, and then on the other side of the creek, there's a fence. And so there's a big rock. I climbed up onto the rock, and I'm like, and then I, boom, jump across. I made it. Woohoo! But I don't want to look creepy, so I'm jumping over the fence, and I'm, hey, can I play with you guys? And I see this kid turn around on the sewer cover. What? Can I play with you guys? Sure, come on over. And that's the day that changed my life. That day I met one of my best friends, and 19 years later, we're still going strong. One friend turned into 11 groomsmen because each one of them played a vital role in my life. I don't know if I would have graduated high school if I never jumped over that fence. I don't know if I would have joined the Navy. I don't know if I would have graduated with a bachelor's degree or graduated with a master's degree or have a big house and cars and a beautiful wife who is my best friend. But one thing's for certain, it's because my friends and their family took a chance on me that I made it through to the other side. Now some of you have kids. And some of you know the, quote, kid to look out for. Well, I used to be one of those kids. So I'm asking you to reach down and emotionally connect to a troubled child. You could be the catalyst that propels them to greatness. Reaching out and helping people will bring you more satisfaction than anything you can ever imagine. Together, we can change the world one child at a time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I really, truly appreciate it. Subscribe. Tell me your story. Thank you. Thank you for watching. That was the speech I gave in the 2018 International Speech Contest, where I made it to the third round and placed second. In 2017 and in 2018. Now I gave two different speeches both years. But the reason I'm sharing my speech and why I re-recorded it here at my house is because I want to share with as many people as possible. Because I want them to know that if I can do it, you can do it too. Stand up to your bully, face your fears, and you will be successful. Consistently work towards your goal. You got this. Woo! Stay hungry. You got this. Woo!